You know how fast you were going?
What? How fast you were going?
I don't know. 10?
8.
Be advised, this is an explicit podcast, so if you're easily offended, get your panties twisted into a knot, turn this off before you get butthurt and mad, start to cry, have to run to your safe space. All opinions are those of the host and his guest and do not reflect the opinions of any government agency. Welcome to MOTORCOP Chronicles podcast. I'm your host, as always, the Iceman. We have a special guest, not in studio. We got him on the ice line. Called in. He's from up north. So let's get him on. Welcome to the podcast. You are in Missouri, correct?
That's correct.
And let me see if I remember this. Your nickname is Gigantor.
It is. That is true.
So we're going to go by Gigantor. The reason his name is he sent me a picture of his cock and it's huge. No, I'm joking. He didn't. Tell us how you got the nickname.
Man, I'm just a big guy. I don't know. We do SWAT training and stuff, and obviously we do some violent things. And I guess I break stuff, and I earned it by breaking doors and putting holes in walls.
Exactly what you like. I think you said you're like 6'4", 240, yeah. Somewhere around in there.
Yeah, just broke 260, man. So I'm a big boy, that's for sure.
I still got you on weight. I'm not 6'4", but I got you on weight. I like to be around 240, but I don't know if that'll ever happen again at 50.
Man, I remember back when I was 180 pounds.
So do I. It was called graduation.
Yeah, no joke.
It was when I graduated. So I'm going to ask you just a couple little questions. If you listen to old episodes, I don't know or not, or any of the episodes, I ask a few questions. So what is your favorite movie?
Oh, man, Fight Club.
That is a good one. I do like that one. Your favorite drink?
So, does that have to be alcohol or?
Whatever is your favorite drink. It can be alcohol, soft drink, could be juice, could be water.
So when I used to drink, it would be Guinness. I love Guinness, but right now I'm doing gin and Sprite is my go-to.
You can get old Snoop Dogg gin and juice.
That's right.
Guinness is that dark beer, isn't it?
It is, and it's good. The first time I drank it, man, I fell in love with it. So
I'm not a beer drinker at all myself. I'm a whiskey, bourbon guy. I actually have me some salty watermelon in my cup as we speak. I love my salty watermelon.
I got a question for you. You make that yourself or do you buy it somewhere?
No, Old Smoky makes it.
I'll have to give that a try. It sounds good.
I take it they sell the Old Smoky brand whiskey in Missouri.
Yeah, I've seen it, but so I don't go to the liquor store all that often. But I'm gonna hunt it down, see if I can find it.
So you said liquor store. So I take it y'all have to go to. I know in some states they have to go to a separate store to buy alcohol.
So you can buy it like Walmart and stuff, but they don't have the best selection. But we got some decent liquor stores around there we go to. We can buy it there.
Well, my two favorite right now. My favorite is the salty watermelon, and I can tell you how to mix it deliciously. I use a 30-ounce Yeti-style cup. I fill it up with ice. Put 2 shots of salty watermelon whiskey, 1 shot of sour mix. Right now I'm using the watermelon cranberry juice, 3 shots of that. Fill it the rest of the way with Sprite. Stir it and enjoy. Tastes like it's kind of dangerous because it has no kick or nothing. It's like drinking a watermelon Jolly Rancher, which you have to be careful of.
You do have to be careful, man.
Then the other one, if you dare to try it, which everybody so far that has tried it, I've even got emails on it, is the peanut butter whiskey, flavored whiskey.
I heard that's really good.
Old Smoky makes it, but they have quite a few brands. Old Smoky to me has the best peanut butter flavor. But I use that. I put 2 shots of that and then fill it the rest of the way with I use like the grape cranberry juice. Drinking a peanut butter jelly sandwich.
That's a good idea. I like that.
It's sweet. I mean, it's on the sweeter side, but I tried it with just straight grape juice and it was way too sweet, so that didn't work out. What is your favorite restaurant?
That's a good question. So,
Cops like to eat.
It's a local restaurant. I love Mexican food, and the hotter the better.
So your favorite would be Mexican?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, so
authentic, or Tex-Mex?
So I've never had Tex-Mex, I don't think, and I don't even know if it's authentic or not. But they call themselves Mexican, and I like it.
My wife could eat Mexican every single day.
Oh, it's good. I love it.
I like it every now and then. I like my meat too. Like a good steak or something like that.
Oh yeah. No, so there's a place down by our mutual friend of Asian Persuasion Lover is it's I don't even know if it's there anymore, but it's like an Irish pub type setup, and they make the best prime rib I think I've ever had. Like it ruined it for every other place I've ever been to. It's in Destin, I think.
If I ever get down there again, I'll have to try it. They have a place out where I work. You'd never think it if you saw the place, but Bam can even testify. She's had a steak from there. You can actually like eat the steak with a plastic fork and not even a knife.
Oh, that's awesome!
Friggin', I'd never seen her eat an entire steak, especially one that size. I'm looking for more. It was like I said. You see this place, you're like, yeah, they wouldn't have that kind of steak, but they did. All right, I don't know if you run a lot of traffic or not, but when you do, are you a 10 mile an over guy or a 15?
So it depends on my mood. Now, if it's like a school zone, you can be 5 over and you're going to be on the shoulder. But otherwise, 13 will get you stopped for sure. 15 get you a ticket.
All right, so you're a depends on the location type of guy.
Yeah.
All right, well, just give us a little, just your time. Give us a little background on you. How many years you got, and kind of what your role is.
So copping years, I've been doing it for 12. Before that, I was a paramedic for 6. And then right now I'm a patrol sergeant, and I'm in charge of a SWAT team. But I've done street crimes, which is, basically just focusing on your dope neighborhoods and gangbangers / wannabe gangbangers. Like where I'm from, we don't have like true gangs, but what we'll get is transients coming from the big city coming down here thinking they're going to be the new masters of the hood. So we deal with them.
Little wannabes.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what, Katrina was the worst thing we ever had happen to us. So they transplanted all your wonderful people to our neck of the woods, and we had to deal with them for 5 or 6 years, and we sent them all to prison. So
it was all them New Orleans people.
It is, man. It was bad.
Well, what's funny is when you brought that up, what I thought was so funny is I actually pulled over a Texas Ranger one time on the interstate for speeding, and we started talking, and he's like, and I was like, this is right when we were having a big influx of illegal immigrants at the time.
Never.
I was like, dude, I need to do something. Keep all y'all's illegal immigrants in your own state. He said, I'll make a deal with you. I'm like, what's that? He says, we will keep all our illegal immigrants if y'all come take all these damn New Orleans people back. He's like, yeah, y'all shipped all these damn New Orleans people to Houston and all these places. He says, and the crime rate is like skyrocketed, like 10 times higher than it was before. He said, y'all sent all the criminals to us. I was like, I'll just keep the illegals. Never mind.
Yeah, you got the better end of the deal on that one, man.
I'll keep the illegal. But yeah, so when you said that I got you. Because the crime rate in New Orleans dropped after Katrina for a while. So a lot of people didn't come back.
So a lot of people don't realize it. Like your HUD housing and your Section 8, if you were Katrina or one of like Detroit whenever they had the water issues, you can go anywhere you want to on a voucher, and they love sending them out to the rural areas. Well, the rural areas didn't like it. We sent them to the prison. So, thank our politicians for that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now we got other issues.
Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah, well, we got more than just the ultimately they shipping the illegal kids everywhere, and they want to take our guns. But we're not going to get into that because I try not to be political, not until at least I retire. Because when I go down that rabbit hole, it's a deep rabbit hole.
No joke. That is a true story.
God, it's a deep rabbit hole. So you patrol sergeant. How many guys you got working under you?
So we're a pretty small department. I got 5 guys on my shift.
So you are like a working sergeant where you actually take calls still?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So that's funny you say that because there are some sergeants in our department who they're retired but still collecting a paycheck.
Retired on duty.
But, yeah, I'm not one of those sergeants. I definitely take calls and go out there and do some work. Yeah,
when I was a sergeant, my old department, my division, I loved being out there with my guys writing tickets, crashes, funerals. I felt like if they could do it, I can do it too. So they knew. I
always like to get the new guys coming in, think they're hot stuff, and I go out there and pull numbers. And I'm like, man, you ain't looking too good compared to me, son. You can get to work.
I pulled out numbers one year when I was still a sergeant, and I think there was like 8 of us in motors, and it was I think I was like 2nd or 3rd out of all 8 on like on crash reports and stuff like that. I'm like, and the lieutenant was like right under me, so I think we were like 3rd and 4th. I'm like, y'all need to step up when the lieutenant and the sergeant's pulling more fucking foul numbers than y'all are.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
But
crazy. And I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know if you've noticed it, but I hate to tear down millennials, but they just don't have the fire that these other guys had whenever they came on board.
So, no, this new generation, and like I said, trigger warning if I hurt anybody's feelings. But if you listen to me long enough, you might realize I hurt your feelings and just fucking deal with it or stop listening. But a lot of the younger generation, I'm talking 20-something-year-olds, no, they don't have the fire. Some of them come in and think, I'm doing this 6 months. I ought to be a detective. I'd have my gold shield, or I ought to be the sergeant already, or something like that. It's like, no. You got so much more to learn than the kids today are just like you should start out at the top and work your way down. I don't know. It don't work like that, but I know right where you're coming from with it.
Well, they pinch that badge on their chest, and I think people automatically should just bow down to them. Like, that ain't how it works, son.
Well,
it takes time.
When I first started, I was 24, and this was I started reserve like in '93, and the times. I mean, it don't sound that far ago, 20-something years ago, but it's like the times were just different. People actually respected law enforcement back then.
Yeah, they did.
Now they hate you and look down at you or cut their eyes or want to, cuss at you and stuff. I mean, it's just a whole different generation. And some of these kids coming out thinking they got that badge and that gun and people are supposed to respect them because of that. And I'm like, no, you got to earn that respect from the community and the people out there. And once they get to know you, and if you're acting like a dick or an ass, they're going to not have any respect for you.
They won't. And it's different. Like, people don't realize it's, take the badge off and see what you'll do. I'm like, no, man, the badge is what protects you from my bad decisions.
Yeah.
I'm like, so how about this? How about I'll show you respect, you show me respect, and we'll move forward on this whole, situation we're going through right now. So
I had somebody recently says, but they were like, well, you're the nicest cop I met. It's like, I'm not the nicest cop you met. I said, I just treat everybody the way they treating me. If you treating me okay, I'm going to treat you okay. Now, if you come at me sideways, good chance I'm going to come right back at you sideways harder. Or sometimes I won't come back sideways. Because depending, you know how you get that feeling. Like, I'll get one of these dickheads or something, and I'm like, I won't do it. Because I know if I'm just nicer to them, it pisses them off even more.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I sure do.
The nicer you
I
are.
tell my guys that. I said, listen, read them. The angrier they get, the nicer you get. And at the end of the day, you win because they're pissed off and going to jail, and you got a smile on your face, and you feel good about it.
Oh, yeah.
So
It's like, you know, I had a dude recently that talked about it, I think, last podcast, you know. Dude was just a dickhead on the traffic stop. He was an ass. And I was just nice, speedo, smile. I don't really smile, but I'm like, all right, sir, you have a nice day and drive safe and all that stuff. And he just sped off, and he was just being an ass. As I turned and walked away and he sped off, I just had this big-ass grin on my face because he was – I just knew I just ruined this fucker's day and did it worse when I didn't let him get under my skin. So –
oh, yeah. Yeah, they like to poke you as much as they can and try to see what reaction they can get from you. But no, you keep that under control, and you find out real quick who's in control and who's not. So
well, some of these younger cops, I mean, nothing against them, but I wasn't one of those parents. But you got a lot of parents out there, they baby their children so much, and they do get into the real world, especially in law enforcement, and they just, you know, first time somebody looks at them in their face and tells them to go fuck themselves, they don't know what to do. They're like,
they don't.
Oh my God, what am I supposed to do? This dude just told me to go fuck myself. It's like, I had a woman one time looked at me. Actually, this was in my later years, but she said, why don't you go fuck yourself? I said, ma'am, if I could do that, I would be in the movies and wouldn't be out here messing with you right now. So, and she didn't know what to say. It pissed her off more, you know. I've had people, you know, talk about my mama, you know, your mama sucks dicks. I said, well, I hope for my daddy's sake she's good at it too. So it's like, you don't know my mama. I don't really care. I mean, you ain't gonna get under my skin with that shit, especially not now that I'm older.
No, exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna go fuck your mom. Dude, she's in her 70s, brother. Whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, I mean, if you're into them older lady, somebody told me, said, your mom sucks dicks. I said, my mom's dead, and if she's sucking dicks being dead, I mean, that will be a miracle right there by itself, you know. It's like, you know, I'm not one of them people like, oh, you talking about my mama. It's like, So I take it you do a lot of FTOing, or y'all share them when they come out?
So apparently I've got the knack for fixing the broken few that come through.
Broken few.
Yeah, so this is how bad it's gotten. I'm sure you've seen it. Nobody wants to be a cop anymore for obvious reasons. So when you get someone who makes it through background because they've made decent life choices, you don't want to give up on them right away. So I get those who, you know, we have a 3-month FTO program. You know, it seems like every place is different, but
that's after academy, before academy.
That's after academy. So they go through the academy. So where I'm at, it's like I don't know the exact numbers, but it's over like 700 some hours.
3 months is actually quick.
Yeah. So everywhere's different. There's places that give them 2 weeks, and it blows my mind because I'm like, there's no way. Yeah.
It's like you're almost asking for a lawsuit or to get that person hurt.
Well, exactly. So, and I think for us, it's, you know, do you know the statutes? Learning our system, getting out there. We really focus on officer safety. And then once you get past that, if you can do a decent entry level of taking reports, then once we put you on a shift, we'll develop you the rest of the way. But some people it blows my mind. Like, no perception of danger whatsoever, no understanding of there's more to it than somebody's trust. I don't know the best way to explain it, but do you know what marijuana smells like? Because the guy that I was training didn't, and I could smell it from
How the
half a
fuck
block
did he?
away, and he had no idea.
How the
So,
fuck could he even be alive that long and not know what it smells like? He live in a bubble?
hey, you ever hear of homeschool?
Oh, he was homeschooled.
Yes, I'm gonna tell you
Oh, he
something.
did live. He did grow up in a bubble.
He did, and we've had several of them that were homeschool, and they were super nice. And I felt super bad for them because they had zero street smarts. And if you want to be a cop, you have to have street smarts, because if you don't, you're gonna be, one, everybody's gonna take advantage of you, and two, you're not gonna get nothing done.
Oh no!
And this poor bastard, we ended up getting like 5 ounces of fentanyl, 5 ounces of meth, like 40 some strips of Suboxone, like a pound and a half of marijuana, and some pills.
That's a good bust.
Yeah, it was good. So like, I get him in. It's our third phase, which basically is he's ready to start doing work, and I'm just there to guide him, make sure he's not following anybody's rights, and not get himself killed. And we go for a disturbance at a hotel. Well, hotels are notorious for good criminal activity. So we get there. We're gonna go interview this lady. It's on the second floor of this outdoor hotel, which is really high class. And we get to the second floor, and I'm not even, I bet we're 6 rooms away, and I can smell the weed already. And we get there, and she's telling him this bullshit story in this ghetto voice, and I'm like, come on, man, ask her about the weed. Ask her about the weed. And never does he say a word about it. And finally, we run her. She's got warrants, so she's going to go to jail anyway. And I can already tell she's got the big city in her, so she kind of knows how to play the game. And instead of asking her for consent to search the room, I asked her, does she want to take anything with her to jail? Well, she wants her purse, which is in the hotel room. And I'm like, hey, I'll go get it for you. She's like, all right, it's on the bed. Well, my guy is totally clueless. He has no idea about the smell of weed or anything. And I walk in there, and I've never seen this before on a call, but there were 4 pill presses on a table, and they were like loaded, ready to be filled next to her purse.
Making
and I'm
their
like,
own pills.
yeah, they were making their own pills. And I was just like, damn. So I get that, come out, and so then I take over. I'm like, hey, what's up with this marijuana smell? And she obviously says, bullshit, there's no marijuana. And I ask for consent search, and she tells me to piss off. And I'm like, that's cool, because I can smell the weed and I saw the pill presses, so I got enough for a warrant. So we do the whole task force thing, but she's in the car calling us all these bad names. And I asked my guy, like, hey, man, I'm like, you smell the weed? He's like, no. I'm like, what? And I mean, think about it. There's a pound and a half of weed in this room, and he doesn't smell it.
He didn't know what he was smelling.
He did, and that's what it comes down to. Is he doesn't know.
To me, some people I think it just stinks. That's why they call it skunk weed. I mean, it's fucking stinks. I was outside walking my dog the other night, and got this fucking trailer park they built next door, and I could see a car running, and it's 80 yards away, and I could smell the weed coming out of that fucking car.
Yeah.
From there,
how many traffic stops have you done where you smell the weed in your car before you stop the car in front of you?
Oh yeah.
So it's like it's not a weak smell. Like, it's obvious. So he just didn't know what it was, and he didn't have the manhood in him to say, I don't know. And I'm just like, man, that's what you're dealing with these new guys, is they're not willing to admit what they don't know.
Did he make it?
No, he's gone. He didn't make it through. So we tried really hard with him, and he just was too young and dumb and not ready for the world to be the police. So
the woman that taught me my academy, I went to academy at LSU, the university. I used to have the police academy there. It's not there anymore. Other departments have started academy, but I went to academy at the Louisiana State University, and they had a woman that ran it. On first day in academy, I'll never forget. And like I said, this is almost 30 years ago. And one of them phrases I'll never forget. She said, "Look, this class of 70 of us about." She's like, first of all, I'm gonna tell y'all, look around, because half of y'all aren't gonna be here by the time we graduate. She says it might be 20 of y'all left, or 30 out of this. At least half of y'all gonna be gone. She says, I cannot make you a cop. She says, I can train you and stuff and teach you about the law and everything. She says, but I cannot make you a cop. She says, cops are born, they're not made. You're either born to do this or you're not. Because
Yeah.
it takes a certain. First, I'm like, what the hell is she talking about? I've seen a lot of guys, like I said, I've been doing this coming up 27 years this December. I'm like, I've seen a lot of guys come in that were super nice guys, like you said, and it's like, you can always look at them and say they're not going to last. I mean, I had a FTO with me one time. We had a open door in an apartment one time. It's a 3-story apartment complex. We go to it. I'm like, all right, the door's cracked. I said, look, we'll go in. Well, I told him, I said, look, we're gonna push the door the rest of the way. You're gonna go in first. The reason I told him he was going in first because I didn't want him to I didn't know this dude. I didn't want him to get nervous and shoot me in the fucking back.
Yeah.
Well, and I said, look, go in. Come to the first door. First door you come to, stop. We're gonna clear each doorway in room as we go along. Don't ever pass open or door or nothing like that. We're gonna clear everything. Well, I look over this dude, and this dude is physically vibrating, shaking. I'm like, dude, what the fuck's wrong? This dude started having a full-on fucking panic attack right there. I'm like,
Yeah.
I looked at him. I'm like, you go back to the car and just sit there, and I'll be back in a minute. Just go. He looked at it and said, just go. I said, just go get in the car. I didn't holler. I didn't, berate him or nothing like that, or, tell him, call him a pussy or nothing. I just told him to go get in the car because at that point, this dude his legs wasn't going to move to let him go in that apartment. So I ended up going in and cleared it myself. Came back out. I think he resigned the next day. That was the last time I ever saw the dude. It's just people don't realize they get into it and they see that shit on TV and all that stuff like that. And when you're getting ready to go in a strange place, you don't know if somebody's in there with a knife, gun, or what the hell's getting ready to go on. Maybe
you don't.
Probably 95% of the time, it's bullshit. Somebody forgot to lock the door, close it all the way, but it's that other 5%. So
and I'm gonna tell you, people they struggle. So TV is one thing, and they think that
you say freeze.
They don't realize.
You say freeze, and they put their hands up and drop the gun.
Yeah,
you got me. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and I asked we always ask them, hey, have you ever been in a fight? And most are like, oh yeah, I've been in a fight, and they like puff their chest up and act tough. And I'm like, well, how'd it go for you? Oh, I beat him up. I'm like, really? Like, was it a real fight, or was it like just like you guys pushing each other because you're fighting? There's some cute girl over there. Because there's a difference between a high school fighting over a girl and I'm gonna kill you, and
you're fighting for your life.
Fighting for your life, and there's a huge ass difference. And you can't. People always ask like, "Hey, tell me stories," or "How is it being a police officer?" And I tell people, I'm like, "Listen, there's two different worlds that we live in." I said, "There's a world that you live in, and then there's a world that these criminals live in." I said, "It is not the same. What you do day to day in your life is totally different than what they do." I said, "I have to live in your world, and for 12 hours a day, I have to go live in theirs." I said, "It is not the same." I said, "And I'm gonna tell you right now, I've had people, not very many, and you know how it is. You get into fights and tussle people to get them under arrest and stuff like that, and it's not really a fight. They just want to get away."
Mm-hmm.
But you could probably count on one hand, maybe two real fights. Like, all right, this is for real. This is me and him, and whoever wins this fight, if it's him, I'm probably dead. And if I win, he's going to go to the hospital, and then his ass is going to jail. Like, there's not very many fights you have like that.
No, even in my whole career, I haven't had, but I've had a few. I ended up in the hospital too. I took stitches. I got cut up pretty good in that fight.
Yeah, and how do you relay that to people who have no idea? You can't. There's no way to tell a story and no way to put them in your seat. Like, to be on scene while that guy looks you in the eye and says, "When I get fucking done with you, motherfucker, I'm going to find your wife, I'm going to rape her while your kids watch, and I'm going to kill them, and I'm going to kill her." And like, you, like in this situation, like you're like, damn, this shit's real. It's time to take care of some business.
Oh yeah.
And either you do or you don't. And if you're not in the mindset that you'll do whatever it takes to win a fight, you don't need to be a cop, because if you don't have that mindset and it does happen to you, you ain't gonna last.
Yeah, well,
because
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'll say because there's guys out there who have the mentality that I'm going to take the fight to get to the bad guy, who end up dead, and we honor those guys, every year. And then if you, I don't know the best way to put it, but if you don't have the mindset and the willingness to do the things that you have to do to win, then you're not going to make it. And you can't relay that to people and help them understand that whenever, like in training, in field training. How many times I told this guy, I'm like, listen, man, this is not a game. It's not a joke. This isn't something you go back home and tell mom and dad. Like, this is legit. And if you're not ready for it, take your belt off. Ain't nobody going to shame you because we get it. There ain't very many people that make it. So
I have more respect for somebody that will hang it up, says, look, this isn't for me. I can't do that, than somebody that won't do it and he's out there faking it and either gets himself killed, a civilian killed, or another cop killed.
absolutely,
Because you're
100%.
faking it. So I got way more respect, just like in motors. I mean, we had a guy one time that came out the motors, and I mean, he ended up hanging it up. It's like, look, I just can't do this. I mean, I got all the respect in the world for him because he's big enough man to admit that he's not cut out to do a certain thing. That takes more fortitude and gut to stand up and say, hey, I can't do this, or this makes me nervous, than to just keep doing it and getting somebody hurt.
I 100% absolutely agree with you. And we razz each other. We give each other shit. But at the end of the day, like, if you can't do something, man, more respect to you for man up to it and say, because I'm not going to ask you to do something that you can't do. So
that's like me. I mean, so I've been doing this, like I said, almost 27 years. And if it comes to like traffic, I know traffic. I know how to. I'm not a reconstructionist, but I've been to schools and stuff, and I know how to write crashes. I know how to investigate crashes. I mean, when it comes down to traffic stuff and stuff like that, I know my shit. When it comes down to dope, I don't know my shit. That's not my specialty. And if I come across something, I'm not ashamed. I'll call one of the NARC guys or something, say, hey man, I got this or this, and he'll like, and if I don't know, I'll call somebody and ask. I'm not ashamed to do it. I had a road guy that's been doing this shit 12 years. He called me the other day and asked me a traffic question. There ain't no shame in that. I mean, I know my traffic shit. Same as I don't keep up with all the juvenile shit. I don't keep up with the narcotic stuff. I mean, that's not what I do. I'm a traffic cop.
And honestly, so I always tell guys too, like, hey, there's different cops out there. There's C grade cops and there's A grade cops. I said, don't be the guy who gets a C. Be the guy who gets an A. So if you don't know something, ask the questions. Get, like you said, like, hey, I don't know everything about traffic, so I'm going to call my traffic guy and say, hey, tell me what you would do in this situation, or is this legal or illegal? Like, give me the answers I need so that I can do my job the right way instead of, fucking puffing my chest out, act like I know what I'm doing, and then make a huge mistake. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I recently had a sergeant. I'm not a sergeant anymore. I mean, this department, I'm just a deputy. And this guy's a sergeant, and he said, hey, man, had me meet up with him. And I went over there. I'm like, what's up? He wanted me to look at this crash that he had because he had some doubts about it. I mean, that's all respect in the world. I mean, this dude, even though I've been doing this longer, he outranks me. But at least, he knew that I knew this part of it better than he did. So, I mean, there's no shame in asking questions. Don't go out there trying to think, oh, I know everything now, because ain't nobody knows everything.
Hell no, there's no way you know everything. And I always tell guys too, I'm like, listen, memorize and know the main felonies that we deal with on a regular basis. Memorize and know the main misdemeanors and city ordinances that we deal with on a regular basis. Everything else, we have the internet and we have books that we can open up and look at if we're not sure. So, because there's just too much. There's no way. I mean, even lawyers, they act like they know everything, but they don't know a damn thing most times. So
change shit. I don't know about up where you're at, but I mean, every year, the politicians and their wisdom will change some law or add some law or something like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Every year there's new charge code and new charges. So I'm with you on that. There's nothing's ever the same. Not very long anyway. So
we used to have a charge many years ago here in Louisiana called drug traffic laundering. basically what it was, this was during the crack cocaine epidemic. And basically what it was, if you got caught in an area that was known for drug trafficking and you didn't live anywhere around there or had any reason to be going through there, like that we could actually like cite you or arrest you for it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, well, it's not a law anymore because, of course, it became, it lasted about a year and then it was ruled unconstitutional.
I'll say, yeah, it's constitutional.
Yeah, it was great. We were arresting people like left and right because you could tell who was down there to buy crack and stuff,
So, oh man, I remember. I don't know if you watch Netflix or not.
Yeah, I watch I don't even have cable, so that's what I do. Netflix, stuff like that.
Have you seen The Pharmacist? I think it's called The Pharmacist.
No, I saw it advertised, but I hadn't watched it.
So his son was it District 9? I can't remember, Ward 9 or something like that down there in New Orleans. And basically it's an African American neighborhood and he's a white kid. That would be like the perfect law for him is, what are you doing here? You got no business being here. I always hate to say it because people are like, racial profiling, don't do that, which it's true. Like you shouldn't be doing that, but who belongs in the neighborhood, who doesn't. So if you work in a neighborhood long enough, who lives there, who visits that area.
You know who your locals are. That's what I was going to ask you. Where you're at, does your guys, do they get assigned a zone or a district or something, and do they work that one, or do they rotate them around, or?
Yeah, so we have like 20,000 people that live regularly in our jurisdiction. And then we have a university, so we'll get an extra 6,000 to 8,000 depending on the load of the students that year on top of that. And then what we'll do is we divide the city in half, and we'll have one officer assigned to one zone, one officer assigned to another, and then we'll have what we call rovers, basically, who can go in between and back up and take calls when the other guy's busy. So we kind of they get used to who lives where, what's normal behavior for at night compared to daytime, that type of stuff, which is important to know. So yeah, we have a pretty good idea of who's who, where they belong, where they live. So whenever we see anything, that's out of norms, we'll make contact with them and say, hey, what's going on? But yeah, it pretty much comes down to, normal behavior for that neighborhood. So
yeah, it's good. You got to learn your community and the area, especially the people that live there. They get used to seeing you and stuff like that, and stopping. Like I said, everybody's heard me say it before. I'm all up in the community police, and you're driving through a neighborhood and you see a bunch of people outside. Get out your fucking car and go talk to them.
Yeah, that's like the greatest weapon we got is questions. Ask questions.
You see a park with kids, get out and shoot some hoops with them or something like that. I'm pretty sure y'all got portable radio. Get out. I keep telling all the time, don't just drive through a neighborhood and stink eye everybody.
And honestly, people that you've arrested before, they're not obviously always committing crimes. There's no reason you can't get out and BS with them. So like my past chief had like this theory of 94-4, or I think it was 95-4-1. So 95% of people you ever deal with are good people, don't commit any problems. Every once in a while you have like a traffic violation or something like that, but they're good people. 4% are your drug addicts. They'll commit theft, stealing, small crimes to support their habit, but they're not really bad people, but they're addicted to drugs, so they commit crimes. And then you have the 1% true predators. They will take advantage of anybody, commit any crime they need to. They're your murderers, rapists, bad people. So, his theory was, hey, go out and talk to everybody percent like you do the 95%, even though they commit crimes, because really, if we can help them out, maybe they'll become part of the 95%. And then when you come up to the 1%ers, you deal with them like they're the 1%ers. You deal with them like they're criminals, and you make their lives hell. And that's kind of like what that's what we did. And I would go in neighborhoods and I would deal with people I've arrested and BS with them. I'm not their friends, but I know who they are. I know who their kids are. I get to know what problems they have in their lives, because at some point or another, when I do criminal investigation, that's going to be relevant. So it's good to know. And, how it is. Informants are nice to have, because sometimes you have a crime committed where you can't solve it based on the evidence on the scene. So you got to go back and talk to these people and say, hey, what's the word on the street? What do you know?
So, and somebody out there knows what happened.
Oh, yeah, because people, they brag, they talk. They always say they got one over on you. So someone's always willing to tell a story. So if you listen to them, they'll tell you what happened.
Yeah, just sit there and talk to them. Y'all have a high turnover rate, or y'all pretty steady on?
Say that again?
I said y'all have a high turnover rate? Always looking for people, or y'all pretty much?
So it's weird. Like, we always seem to lose 3 or 4 guys a year. So for our department, technically that would be kind of a turnover rate, but we're always short 3 or 4 bodies, which we have 70 employees, but 30 of them are uniform. So 3 or 4 bodies it'll hurt, so we're short like 2 right now. So the biggest problem we get is these young guys who come to us and will work for us for a while, and then we'll go to like highway patrol or somewhere that makes more money. But then the guys who've been around for 10, 15 years, they're not going anywhere. So then they promote into detective bureau or staff.
Where I work at now, we used to have that issue. We get the new guys in, they get certified, get a little experience in them, and a year and a half they're gone, 2 years. But now they changed the pay scale out where I'm at, and the sheriff did everybody quite well, and even for the new hires, and turnover rates like almost completely went just dormant. Nobody's leaving.
Shoot, man, we can't. We're always short bodies. I don't know what it is, because we have really good benefits and we pay pretty good for our area, but it just seems like we can't. When I applied, 40 people applied. When these guys are applying now, it's like 5.
Well, nobody wants to be a cop no more.
No. And they wash out. I mean, I've done some backgrounds for pre-employment, and I always tell them, like, don't lie. Do not lie, because we're going to find out. Like, we, believe it or not, we do investigations for a living.
And if you're going to lie, on something minor, like you smoked weed one time, but you didn't inhale. But
yeah, no joke, right?
But if you're going to lie about something small, I mean, that just shows what's going to happen when they come ask you about something big. That's my big thing, is like, always tell the truth. That don't matter. It's like, even now, I mean, I've gotten written up, suspended, all kinds of stuff, but I ain't never lied about it. But if somebody comes at me saying I did something I didn't do, I'll fight you tooth and nail on it.
Yep.
If I did it, I'll admit I did it. I'll take the consequences.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way to be. If you just gotta tell the truth. So
always tell the truth. And y'all have y'all don't have a full-time SWAT team. Most places don't, unless you're just general.
No, we're part-time.
How much training do y'all do? Monthly?
So, no, we do monthly. Basically, what we're supposed to be doing is 2 days a month, which is 2 8-hour days. And then you'll have a basic SWAT training, and then whatever special unit you do, we'll send you off to that. But because we're so short bodies, we're lucky to get 1 8-hour day a month right now. And that's pretty much it. So
what you guys got to do to qualify to get on y'all? I mean, 'cause like I said, the department I used to be on, you have to have at least 2 years full-time experience. Of course, you have to be post-certified. Then you have to pass a physical fitness test. You have to shoot a minimum of a 115. I don't know how y'all's qualifying go. Ours is, a perfect score is 120. I think you can pass with an 89, but 120 is the highest points as you can get, and you have to shoot a minimum of 115 consistently just to even qualify to try out.
Yeah, so for us, we have a PT test, which is timed. It's pass fail. And then our shooting course, we use a Q target, and I think it was like an NRA shooting course the department used, but we're looking to change it. But it's like a 30-round qual course. Each round is worth a point, and you had to score a 90% or better. So you could drop 3 rounds, and you would qualify for the team. Anything over that, you would disqualify you. So and we used to have that old PT test where you like run the mile and a half, do push-ups and sit-ups, and sit and reach. But what I found was that whenever I took the team over, it's really easy to cheat if you find somebody who's willing to cheat with you. And personally, I don't want a cheater on my team. So I changed our SWAT test to a test that you can't cheat on, and it's timed. So like we got like a 400-yard run, tire flip, sled pull, and another run behind it. And either you can do it or you can't. So that's pretty much to get into the team. Plus we do like an oral board, asking some questions, and then the biggest thing is team cohesion. Like if you don't mess with the,
do they get y'all vote on it? The whole team votes on if they want this person or not?
Yeah, so we used to do that. We don't anymore. What I do as a team leader is on that training day, I'll say, hey, this is who's applying to be on team. Anybody have any issues with this person? And I'll give everybody a vote. And if they have issues with them, and if it's personal, like, hey, they owe me $5 or whatever, I don't care. But like legit issues, like, hey, they're a cocksucker, they cause problems on their shift, or they're, how it is, they're sleeping with somebody's wife or whatever like that. I'm like, okay, we don't need that on our team. So that's a no-go, and I won't even test them. If everybody on the team says, yeah, we're good to go, we work fine with them, or they don't have any issues with them, or they don't have any experience with them, I'll let them test. And then they've got basically a 6-month probation period once they're on the team while they're training, see how they mesh with everybody. And if everything's good to go, after that 6 months, they're on the team permanently. If not, we'll tell them thank you, but no thank you, and we'll send them on their way. And I'll be honest with you, of all the things that I do not joke around with the SWAT team. Either you're on or you're off. Like there's no in between on that, because you know how it is. It's different between running calls and going and kicking a door down with a guy who's got a gun who wants to kill you. So I need to know the guys who I work with are people that are going to have my back and are going to do the things that I know they need to do, and I don't have to worry about it, so I can do my job. So
you definitely got to trust them guys. I was a shield guy at the time, and we were still using MP5s back then.
Because you're old.
Yeah. And of course, I was a shield guy. And I had my MP5 guy. I mean, I had to trust this dude enough. He would brace up on me and be firing rounds off, the barrel. I mean, this thing would be right up against my head damn near, shooting over my shoulder with his MP5. You got to definitely trust the person that you with when they're firing, live rounds that close to you.
Yeah, and it's a life or death by angles. I mean, if you can't trust your guy cover his angle, I mean, you can take around in the back real quick. So,
just like your back guy, that's watching everybody's back. I mean, it takes quite a bit. I mean, you have some fortitude not to, if you're training and when you're training and stuff like that and you're doing live fire, because your natural instinct is when you hear them rounds start going off, you want to turn around and look, and that's not your job. Your job's to look behind everybody to make sure nobody pops out behind them and takes the team out.
Yep. No, true story, man. And I mean, you do any type of research or training on SWAT missions where officers get killed, generally it's because somebody didn't do what they were supposed to do, or team leaders didn't adjust to new methods of operating because, well, the old way's the way I've done it for 15 years, so that's why I'm gonna keep doing it.
So advances and just everything else, you got to keep changing. Everything's always changing.
Yeah, and you have to adjust to it. And there's nothing wrong with evaluating things and looking at them and saying, hey, this is safe, or hey, this isn't safe. But when I joined SWAT, we flooded buildings. Well, now we don't do that. It's breach and hold, and take one room at a time, and we'll only put enough bodies in a room to take a room. It's not this flooding stuff. It's slow and easy unless it's a hostage situation. So, then we do things a little bit differently, but it's not the race to the bad guy that it was at one time. So, and I'll be honest with you, I've had the discussions with people who have been on SWAT before, then they get off SWAT and it's been 10 years. And to them, time hasn't changed, and the way they did it was the right way. And you try to explain, like, well, listen, it's not the right way. This is the way we do things now, and you need to accept that, because if you don't get my team. You deal with it on your own, because I'm not going to put my guys in a position where they're going to get killed, and I have to go explain to their wives and family why I made a poor decision to benefit you. Like, it's not going to happen. So,
everything's on there. I used to wear taps on my motor boots, and it was a long time ago. But anyway, we were doing a school shooting training during the summer, and you had to dress how you dressed while you were on duty, and wear basically like you got there and you were on duty. So you wouldn't run around in tennis shoes, blue jeans, and all like that. You had your And I used to wear taps on my motor boots. And once we went and did this school shooting thing, I pulled them fuckers off, because I wore full taps front and back and everything. Well, it was like trying to walk across fucking ice on them damn linoleum tile floors in them schools that had been waxed. And you could hear me coming 2 miles away.
It's just they can just sit up there barricade, wait for you to come.
And watch me slide past the room because I was slipping and sliding. So, yeah, that was the end of my tap days on my boots, even though they sound cool and stuff. But, once I got in that situation, saw how, my uniform was functioning on stuff like that, I changed it. So, constantly changing. All right. I'm not cutting you off here. We're doing, come on, 52 minutes. This was a serious one. We're going to end this one, and we're going to do a part 2. And then part 2, we're going to get Gigantor's funny story, because I'm sure he's got a shitload of them. So,
oh, dear Lord.
Yeah, we're going to get into the funny stuff. We don't talk the serious stuff. We're going to talk the funny stuff. So, y'all come back next Sunday. Gigantor's, we're going to have part 2, and we're going to hear his funny shit or the stupid shit that he's got into. So, like I said, as always, you can email me at MotorCop Chronicles podcast at motorcopchronicles@gmail.com, message me on Facebook. If you listen on Apple, hit 5 stars, write me a review. If you don't like me, hit 1 star and write a review. At least let me know why you fucking don't like me. And if you're a cop, law enforcement, veteran, first responder of any type, hit me up. Let me know if you want to be a guest on the show, or just want to email me a story and I can read it. And always remember to smile, because the Iceman could be behind you.
I'm cranking up on the throttle. This is how